Hey, everybody, it must be Tuesday morning. And
I think.
yeah,
Yes.
checking the clock. It's 8 o'clock. So that means it's time for Trash Talk. And we're here again. And we're still trying to get through the summer, but it's winding down.
It is. It
Yeah,
really is. Isn't that crazy?
I know it's just like we couldn't wait until summer got here. And a summer started off so great because I think we only had one. Wasn't it one day, at least until this past week. One day, the 1st of July, it was 100 degrees. And after that, we didn't see any 100-degree temperatures. We had like
Look,
2 weeks of rain almost every day. It was great. And now
we've
we
had
have,
a mild Texas summer
yeah.
compared to what we normally have,
And
honestly.
now we haven't seen a drop of rain, and it's back up into the high 90s and low hundreds,
That's
and
it.
like no wind whatsoever. And
Well, the other day, it was crazy. It was evening time, and there was a ton of wind, and we had got some of that Sahara dust came through. I was standing on the patio, and I looked. It looked like that movie, The Mummy. Like it was just the Sahara dust was just coming through. It was wild, but it's been an easy summer in Texas lately. I don't know.
you got out of town for part of the summer, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was gone for like 14 days. And I went to back to Michigan. But you know what? Michigan's gotten some crazy weather. We had a ton of
Really?
rain up there. We had flooding in Detroit. I mean, big time. They've gotten 3 tornadoes in the last week. It's been really weird weather in Michigan. Lots of rain, major flooding. But yeah, I got out of town and it reminded me of old school, me and my buddy Ken, who I mentioned quite a few times in my life, he moved back to Michigan. He lived in Texas. He moved back to Michigan, and we had an old school night. We called it. We went and romped around the town, hit some of the bars, and then we just played video games all night like we did when we were kids. Like it was cool, and it just made me think of summers of the past and all that.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the fun of it, is to go back to places that you went to when you were kids. As we grew up and everything, you either went to new places or you have kids of your own, and now you want to take them back to where you used to jump around.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, think about like back in the day, when summertime hit, to me, I mean, it feels different now because we have a lot more responsibility. But when summertime hit, it felt like it was endless. It was just months and months of fun. I mean, sure, your parents made you do stuff that you didn't want to do, but you just had that. You knew when you got up in the morning and you ate breakfast, you were gone. You were out the door. You were riding
Right.
that bike up and down the street until the street lights came on.
Yeah. And did you ever go to an away camp?
Um, yeah, so there's shockingly enough, I've only been to 2 camps in my life as a kid. I went to 5th grade camp, which was amazing. I'm actually going to do a podcast about that soon, but probably get some people in trouble too. But then I went to another camp, and there might have been a church camp in the summer. I mean, it wasn't like a church camp, but it was for the youth group, and that was fun. Actually, we did. Yeah, it was over out by Lansing, north of Lansing, past Michigan State. And I remember going with the youth group, and we had a blast.
When I was a kid, I went to 2 camps. I used to go visit my grandmother out in New Jersey, and I
Okay.
used to go to Camp Robin Hood, and that was a day camp. They'd pick you up in the morning on a bus, and you'd go out and you'd play games all day, and you'd have lunch, and then they'd bring you back before dinner time. And I remember Camp Robin Hood. I learned how to make potholders. You remember those old,
It's a random thing to learn, right? Hey,
yeah,
let's throw
yeah,
some potholes.
and we were all going to become entrepreneurs of potholders. We all, make these potholders. We're going to sell them for like, $5 a piece, and we ended up selling them for a dime. But then when I got a little older, I went up to Hayward, Wisconsin, and I went to Camp Big Chief.
Camp Big Chief, huh? They're
Yeah.
probably changing the name this year.
Yeah. They're like the Indians. Can you believe that? The Indians, They're changing their names to the Guardians.
It's Cleveland. I mean, what are you going to do? They don't know what's going on in Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, what's so wrong with Indians?
Nothing.
I mean, is
Nothing.
there anything? I understand Redskins. Maybe that might
Sure.
sound a little derogatory, but the Indians, I mean, good Lord, and what's that going to do for those guys that used to sit out in center field with the tom-toms?
They're still going to do it.
Are they still going to? Yeah,
Just screw them, man,
that's
But
right.
that's another thing, like when you talked about like sports, like, man, I remember, and when we moved out to South Lyon, it was a relatively new neighborhood. I mean, it was very new. I mean, there was houses being built up. I mean, we used to go in the houses when they were being built and get all the scrap wood and go and build forts and stuff. But we just get together and do anything to be outside: basketball,
Right.
soccer, frisbee. I mean, just any sort of activity just to be outside. We didn't care how hot it was. And obviously Michigan wasn't as hot as Texas, but we didn't care. And then if somebody had a pool, even better.
Right. Yeah, I noticed you got a pool behind you.
Yeah, this one needs some work here. This is why I don't want to own a pool. Forget the money. I just don't want to own a pool. I don't want to deal with that crap.
Yeah. So anybody say, hey, Brandon, you want to go take a dip over there?
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
I remember one time I was young and I did a dare. It was one of those above ground pools. It was big, but not too big. I think it was like maybe 5 feet, and they were going to tear it down, but it had all this green, nasty moss, and they dared me to jump in, and I did. I jumped in and immediately took a shower afterwards. But I remember my parents, I think they knew about it, or maybe it was his parents, got so mad because like, you can get sick, you could die. And I was like, it's just dirt.
Yeah, right. And look, Kermit the Frog made a lot of money saying it's not easy being green.
But that's true.
That is one nasty looking pool.
It is really nice. You should see the other ones I saw, but
when we were kids, that didn't bother us. Number one, we go down, we'd throw rocks in it, then we go down and if you drop something into it, you just went and got it.
That's the thing. I mean, we used to really go on adventures and hike around and go in the creeks. And I mean, find salamanders, frogs. I remember one day our sole mission was to find as many snakes as possible and capture them. And I think we got about 10. Now they're all like gardener snakes, they weren't anything deadly, but we had like 10 snakes, like I remember in this bucket. I felt like Indiana Jones, Yeah. And that's what we would do, it was really cool though. And summer just seemed to go. And then as you got older, when you got the car, that was when you were king. I mean, you were the king. And we would just cruise. I mean, we knew the spots. We'd go hit the gas station, hit the gazebo, hit behind the movie theater. That's what we did.
And you used to tell your folks that you're just going over to your buddy's house and you're just going to play checkers or something all afternoon. And then when Dad went in the car the next morning and he saw that there was sand in the car, he said, "Did you go to the beach?" "No, Dad, I went down the street to play checkers." What? Well, there's beach sand in the car. Oh, how did that get there?
Must have been on my shoe.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the guy at the gas station that filled up the car with gas, he must have had sand on his shoes, because I asked him to wipe the windows inside and out.
Dirty, I remember though. I used to have that stuff all the time. I'm going to my buddy Jim's house, and he was the one. My parents usually didn't say no anyway. I think they just gave up. And I would go to my buddy Jim's house, and we'd go out. We'd go walk downtown. We'd do this. We'd, drive everywhere. And I remember when I started cramming everybody in my Chrysler K car, worst car ever. I remember cramming everybody, and that was when we were cool. We were smoking cigarettes, and my parents found a pack of cigarettes in the car. "What are these?" I'm like, "Those aren't mine." I don't know how they got there. It must have been somebody else's when I gave them a ride home.
Yeah. Did you then call all your buddies and say, "Okay, listen, one of you guys has got to take the fall for this, because I'm never going to get to use the car unless one of you guys said, "Oh, by the way, Jimmy left a pack of cigarettes in my car," and Jimmy's
No,
like, "Yeah, I did."
we would just make up a sacrificial lamb. We just make up an imaginary friend that we
Yeah.
just started hanging out with. And then
Right.
they'd be like, well, you can't hang out with him again. All right, no
Oh,
problem.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, because he smokes. Okay. No, we're not going to hang out with him anymore.
Or there'd be like 5 different packs, all different kinds of cigarettes. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Somebody must have threw them in there.
Or I like that line from Trading Places when what's his name said, "Who been smoking my cools?"
Oh, yeah. And we used to go, we would go. So we'd go to Cedar Point. That was the big amusement park. And was one of the best. And it was in Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio. So we'd drive to Cedar Point and, you'd always be like, well, who's driving? Because my parents don't want me to take the car and my parents don't. So we'd have to come up with some sort of some imaginary brother of a friend that was going to drive. And inevitably I would drive, So here I am rolling to Sandusky, Cedar Point. It was crazy. But that was summertime. That's what we did, That's
right.
We didn't have a care in the world. Even when we started working, getting part-time jobs here and there, you go to work, but man, you just hang out all night. I mean, I remember sitting on the lawn till 2 a.m. doing nothing, just talking to people. That's it.
And you know what else I think, and I think it's just as true today as it was when we were kids. You used to stand in line forever at the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
To get ice cream because it was hot in the summertime. And I still see it, except today, a lot of people are sitting in their cars waiting to go through the drive-through to get their ice cream. But ice cream was like the thing in the summertime. You had to have it. And if it meant you had to stand in line for 2 hours,
you didn't care.
Just to get a stupid vanilla cone and all maybe dipped in some chocolate, you did it.
Yeah, I went to Dairy Queen back in Michigan, actually took Luke. Haven't gone to a Dairy Queen in a long time, years. And this was one, they had a drive-through, but they had the old school 2 counters, walk up, big covered seating. And it made me feel like, when we were kids and we got a couple dollars,
Right. Yeah. And that 25-cent cone when you were a kid is now $2.50.
Oh yeah, there's no 25. Even Luke's size cone is like $1 something. But you know what though? What's interesting is last summer during all this COVID, crap, the summer felt like everything was moving in slow motion, to me anyway. And I mean, I really enjoyed moments of it. I really did, but it was moving slow. This year, I'm like, I was just in Michigan and now it's August. It's insane to me how it's flying by.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, now you're faced with having to go to Walmart or whatever to get all the back to school stuff.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that yet, but yes.
Well, yeah, not well, but he's probably, I noticed what you did to his car seat in the car with the superhero armrests.
Yeah, we did an upgrade, man. He outgrew the other one. It's time to do the other one. So now he's got a Captain America booster seat, big boy. It's huge. It looks comfy. I kind of want to sit in
it. Yeah, move over, Luke.
The first thing he says to me is, "Oh, that's my Captain America seat. It's awesome. And when this one goes old, we can get Batman." And I'm like,
ka-ching, ka-ching,
this
ka-ching.
is your last one, homie.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going in the front seat after this one.
Yeah. $160 later, you're done. But yeah, the back to school. What's funny too, and we talked about this at another podcast or another episode. We got the back to school stuff out, started coming out in July. And I get it because the kids are actually going to be in school this year.
Yeah.
But here we are again. I just saw, because I was flipping the channels, unfortunately, Hallmark was doing Christmas in July.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? The beer companies started even earlier. The Oktoberfest beers were out in July, and Oktoberfest isn't even until the end of September.
Right.
It's stressing me out, man.
Next week, you're going to go to the grocery store and start buying up your Halloween candy in advance.
It is funny, because and you're almost forgetting that summer's still here because your mind and your finances, you're planning for stuff. Like I'm planning for his 4th birthday party, and then I realize it's Halloween, then Christmas, and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And before you know it, you're back in the wintertime again.
That's right. And then in the wintertime, that's when they start going to the grocery store and all, and they got a sale on flip-flops and
Yeah, that
suntan
February.
lotion.
But you know what? I guess the point is we didn't think about that when we were kids. Luke's not thinking about that now, about what month he knows his birthday's in September, but he's not thinking about winter. We never thought about that. We did start to get feel that dread when we were younger, and our parents would be like, all right, you got to come in a little earlier. You got to start going to bed a little earlier because we knew school was coming.
Right. And also you're gonna turn the clocks back an hour, and it was going to start getting dark, earlier.
When does that happen? I forget.
In October, usually around October.
Okay. Yeah. We got time. We're good.
Yeah. But by the time you have to turn your clocks back, then that's when you're going to have to go out and buy your Christmas tree.
I don't want to think about it. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about all this stuff.
Yeah,
right
they push all the seasons. They push all the seasons on us. But
hey, look, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of great things to do in the summer everywhere. But if forget the obvious, going out of town and all that, the simplicity is something that I've really enjoyed. The basics: go get an ice cream cone, going for a walk, sitting on the patio, going to the park. If you got a pool or got an opportunity to go to the pool, spend a couple hours. I don't care how hot it is. You're by a pool. Pack a lunch and go hang out. Just enjoy it.
And another thing you need to do is you need to enter our contest, because we're having a contest. Then we're going to get somebody, one of you lucky listeners and followers is going to be a guest on this show. Oh, can you believe that? And all you got to do is send us an email. We got an email address. We're really becoming something. We are trashtalkfrisco@gmail.com. Go on to that, send us an email and say, hey, this is why I want to be a guest on Trash Talk. And the other way isn't it? Am I right? You can also go to our show right here, right now, while you're watching, and hit the share button and the like button and tell us why you like us. Leave a comment and say, I want to be on the show. And we're going to pick one of these lucky people, and they're going to be sentenced. Oh, I don't mean that. I mean, they're going to be a guest on our show.
Yeah, look, either way you do it, email or go here on this show, comment, like, share, tell us why, give us a reason to pick you, make us pick you, stand out, and you're going to be on one of our shows in September.
You can be on Trash Talk, and we could launch your career.
That's right.
Into what we have no idea, but we could be the start of something really strange.
Look, we promise you that you will be known for something. Forget American Idol. We're the next big thing.
Right. And you know what? If you become our guest, we might even buy you a sandwich at Patriot Sandwich Company, and we'll throw in a free drink too.
Let's not go overboard.
No. Well, excuse me. Wait, we'll have to discuss that. All right. Well,
depends what they look like.
Yeah. Come back next week. You can go to Patriot Sandwich Company anyway, and you can mention Trash Talk and get a free drink. But otherwise, come back and see us again next week, and we'll tell you all about what you can win, because the prizes just keep accumulating.
That's right. And enjoy your summer.
I think we're up to 3 right now. Anyway, go out and make it a good one, and come back next week, 8:00 Tuesday morning, for the next edition of Trash Talk. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, guys.